Funny about that. You know who was asking about you the other day? Who's that? Nobody.
We talking about sports, get ball.
What it do, baby?
Yeah. What it do, you number one podcast listeners? We are back with a brand new edition of the number one podcast in your headphones, Prem Brulee. I am your host, Premal, and boy, do we have a treat for you guys. We haven't had one in a little bit, but we have a first-time co-host joining the Prem Brulee family. Long-time listener, first-time co-host, close to a brother as I could have, an NBA expert, someone who I value their basketball opinion on, also is one of the best basketball players I know in person that can actually hoop. None other than one of my best friends, my college roommate of 3 years, even way back when. We go way back. Nnamdi Kalu has joined me on Prem Brulee. Welcome.
Thanks for having me on, man. Super excited.
Yeah, man. We've talked about this for a long time, and you and I have we regularly message back and forth a lot about NBA stuff. Yep. Also a fair amount of hip-hop, which we'll cover both. Spoiler alert, number one podcast listeners. But we have always talked hoops in our years living together in college, from when we met all the way to this day. So it was long overdue that we have you on, and it was appropriate that this edition of Prem Brulee be NBA playoff centered, because that's what our messages back and forth entail most of the time. So, number one podcast listeners, a little peek behind the scenes. If you hear me call him Diesel, Diesel, any combination of that, I'm talking about Nnamdi. So join us as if you are in the group chat. Without further ado, let's get going on the content.
Let's do it.
You ready, Noms?
For sure.
All right. You already know how we start things off, you number one podcast listeners. We will kick things off with yeah, fam, or nah. And I got a few for you. And I'm curious about your take, because while we always talk about basketball, we don't always see eye to eye. Now, a lot of times we do, but interested to get your takes on these. The news that just dropped is the MVP award came out for this past regular season. Nikola Jokic won his third MVP in 4 seasons. He won it over Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Luka Doncic, respectively. Shai finished second and Doncic in third. Yeah, fam or nah, they got the MVP correct.
I'd say yeah, fam. Don't get me wrong. SGA and Doncic both had pretty amazing seasons. I mean, they're phenomenal. SGA's team got the 1 seed, even though they had the same record as the Nuggets. Doncic was putting up stupid numbers, but I mean, Jokic he's an all-time great. I mean, he's one of only 9 players to win 3 MVP awards, and he's phenomenal.
Crazy.
So yeah,
I'm not mad about the pick. I would have been fine with any one of the 3, and I mean, you could throw in a little less, but I wouldn't have been mad about them finishing podium and MVP. Anthony Edwards and Jalen Brunson had incredible seasons too. I'm a nod to this only because I think this should have been Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's MVP. And the only reason I say this is because of what NBA history has told us. And it's not because of Jokic didn't deserve it or anything. What you just said, he's one of 9 players ever to win 3 MVPs, is more of an indictment on the MVP process in the history of the NBA. I mean, we have years and years of voter fatigue. In reality, Jokic probably should have won last year when Joel Embiid, who had a great season last year, won it. But they cite voter fatigue all the time, and this would have been that opportunity. It's almost as if they got fatigue last year, and because they did it last year, they didn't have to not crown him this year. I know it's not a great excuse, but a lot of times we get the best player on the best team, and that's how it goes. And like you said, they tied for first, so I guess you kind of have it. But I thought this would have been the opportunity to give SGA the MVP award. First of all, Jokic doesn't give a shit about... I've never seen a guy care less about a profession and be so good at it. This dude seems miserable being awesome at basketball. And, I mean, I didn't add this on Am I Hating or anything, but I'm getting tired of that shit. I am just going to say that. This dude acting like he can't be bothered for being this good at basketball is fucking annoying.
Petty alert. Petty alert.
Read the
Petty
room, my
alert.
guy. You're really good. Nobody wants to see you not care about it.
It would be nice to see a little bit more emotion from him. You are right.
Yeah. Yeah. An emotion that isn't like, oh, I'm so pissed to be here and so pissed to be good at basketball. Anyway, I'm a Yeah fan, but just in terms of being different and the history of how voters have gotten fatigue, I thought SGA should have won it. And I don't really have a great reason other than they haven't really crowned the deserving person. Otherwise, you'd have LeBron would have more MVPs, Shaq would have more MVPs, and probably Steve Nash would have less. And Derrick Rose would have 0.
Look,
So,
I
like,
stay petty,
what are
so
we
I
talking
don't have
about
to
here?
get petty.
Anyway. Okay. This one's an interesting one because they've long been the favorites, but I wanted your take on this. Yeah, fam or nah, the Eastern Conference is the Celtics to lose. It's interesting timing because the Cavs stole a game in Boston, and I didn't see that coming, admittedly. But the Celtics have been far and away the best team in the East all year, and they have quite the path. You're talking about a Milwaukee Bucks team that was injured and already eliminated. Same thing with the Sixers. Some of the powerhouses going into the season aren't in play anymore. So, yeah, the Knicks are doing really good, and Jalen Brunson's incredible. But is the East the Celtics to lose? Yeah, fair enough.
I think nah. I mean, the Celtics are just.
All right.
I don't trust the Jays in the playoffs. His history has shown that they fold under pressure. I don't trust them.
I get that.
Like last night's game, they walked in like they were just going to roll over the Cavs, and then they end up losing by 20 at home in Boston. I mean, come on.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
I'm curious your take on this because I look at that game and they are just like the ultimate live by the 3, die by the 3. And to me, they don't have to be. They have a talented enough team. They went 8 of 35 from 3. At what point do you say, like, hey, maybe this isn't the game to keep doing this? Like, I know advanced analytics say, but, like, in the playoffs, you kind of throw that shit out the window if you have a chance to kind of go get the game.
Yeah, and I mean, like, there has to be somebody between either Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum who says that, like, hey, I'm going to take the ball, I'm going to go into the paint, I'm going to get fouled every single time, you guys are going to stop me at the rim, or you're not going to.
Yeah, exactly. And you're going to get the call. I mean, why wouldn't you? And the Cavs are without their big... Yeah. I know Evan Mobley's been playing incredible, but Jared Allen's not been there, so they don't have their twin towers there. So why wouldn't you take it to the hoop? Instead, they're shooting threes, which leads to blowout some games, but then you have these stinkers like this where it's like... And those are the exact type of games that you see in the finals. Like, it's always lower scoring. The defense comes to play in the finals. You got to be able to win those games, and it seems like they don't. I still think it's theirs to lose, and honestly, they better win the East this year because this is set up perfectly for them. I mean, it would be a tough look if the Celtics don't come out of the East. To me, I don't think there's much of an excuse. Yes, they're down Porzingis, but everybody has injuries, and you're thinking if they survive this Cavs round, then they probably get the Knicks, and the Knicks are without Julius Randle, so it's like they're doing just fine. So I don't really give them a pass on that. Okay, last but not least on Yeah Fam or Nah, this one went pretty viral on what used to be known as Twitter, on X. Austin Rivers was on the Pat McAfee show, and for you number one podcast listeners, I'm going to play a clip from his appearance on the show.
Where the best athletes in the world are, that's us. I can take 30 players right now in the NBA and throw them in the NFL. You cannot take 30 NFL players and put them in the NBA.
Okay, so the main thing we are discussing on Yeah Fam or Nah is his quote, I can take 30 players right now in the NBA and throw them in the NFL. You cannot take 30 NFL players and put them in the NBA. He was using it, obviously, as you guys heard, to cite them being the best athletes, etc. I want to get your take. Diesel. Yeah, fam or nah to that assessment.
I'm a nah fam on that. It's just the more that I think about it, just like the more stupid it is. It's
yeah.
I don't think that you could.
It's tough.
They're both like. Both NFL players and NBA players are both amazing athletes, but I don't think that you could just take an NBA player, throw them in an NFL game, and they'd just automatically be amazing. There's just way too much going on that's different in the NFL as opposed to the NBA for you to just be able to throw a player in there and for them to just automatically be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, 30 is a very generous, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking a handful, probably. Like, LeBron James could play in the NFL. You bet your butt they would line him up on receiver and any team would take him. But there aren't as many. And, number one podcast listeners, I encourage you to listen to the whole clip. Obviously, I didn't want to add a 4-minute clip onto this episode, so I cut it so you got the gist of it. But Austin Rivers cited a few players that have been like really high recruits for football and chose basketball. People like Jalen Suggs, who's on the Orlando Magic, but these are people that were like high recruits out of high school. There is no guarantee that ever pans out. A lot of us watch football and have seen that before, where a top recruit doesn't end up necessarily making it to NFL. So while I kind of get the point, like the athleticism is there, he brought up things like they got to run all the time, where I think he cited like NFL, you just run for a set play. I mean, it's more than that, but he's trying to make a point. I kind of get where he's going, but he took it too far. I do agree that in the same vein, though, I wouldn't even say there are a few NFL players that could play in the NBA, like not even as role players. Without officially seeing them play, that is a different type of conditioning and a little more, let's say like a little less physical, a little bit more finesse. I know there are positions with more finesse in football, but I do agree that it's probably more NBA players that can go to the NFL versus the other way around, but it's not 30. That's right.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Number one podcast listeners, we've come to that very section, your favorite, my favorite. It's time for You Played Yourself. Let's hit that intro.
I'm petty as hell. And I'm super petty.
Here we
Petty Le Pew.
go.
All right, you number one podcast listeners. First up on You Played Yourself, you probably knew it was coming. Jamal Murray. Come on, man. Okay, so You Played Yourself goes to Jamal Murray. First of all, he threw a heat pad on the floor, onto the NBA floor while he was on the bench, while play was happening on that end of the floor. He very luckily missed a player on his team or the opposing Timberwolves team slipping on that heating pad. Very narrow. Like, I mean, I think someone accidentally like kicked it instead of stepping on it, and then his teammate Kentavious Caldwell-Pope saw it and threw it off the floor. I tweeted this out, and the best way I describe what Jamal Murray did was it's toddler energy. Speaking from experience, that is absolutely a toddler move. I don't like this going on, so I'm going to pick something to throw. He didn't like the calls. Maybe he should have shot better. Maybe they shouldn't have gotten blown out. But he thought, let me complain to the officials by throwing a fucking heating pad onto the floor, which, if you think about it, if someone even had the audacity to throw one thing on the floor that was like a fan, they'd get kicked out. So, I mean, we'll leave that there. But here's the real reason he's on You Played Yourself. This dude followed it up 2 days later because he didn't do press after that game. Probably a wise move on his part. Like, you're only going to make it worse. Let's wait to see what the NBA hands down in a penalty. That I got. You need time to calm down. Don't want to talk to the press after you just acted like a brat. I get it. I don't stick a microphone in my 2-year-old son's face after he just acted up, so why should you stick it in front of Jamal Murray? But the way he chose to handle it 2 days later in his press appearance after their practice is, first, let me play this clip for you guys, you number one podcast listeners, so you can be the judge.
It is what it is, and I take everything full responsibility, so on to the next.
Was it just your frustration boiled over? Is that what happened?
Yeah, on to the next. I mean, there's not much, 2 days ago, not much for me to say about it right now.
Were there any conversations that you had with people or anything just to kind of like apologize or whatever, maybe take responsibility?
Do you have any basketball questions? No.
Yeah, so I think you all can see where I'm going with this. This like standoffish entitled "How dare you ask me these questions" as a response to him throwing a heating pad is outrageous to me. Jamal Murray has been blemish free his entire career, been supremely underrated. He's an NBA champion, famously never been an all-star, all this stuff. If he would have just owned it and said, I lost my cool out there, we would have all moved on. But instead, he followed up his toddler energy with more toddler energy and made it fucking worse for himself. I can't figure out how he didn't talk to any one person who went to him before, like, hey, what are you going to say when they ask you about this? Did the Nuggets not do that? Why don't organizations do that? Have a PR person there be like, hey, so what's the strategy here? Let's be prepared. Let's answer this right. Because he clearly didn't talk to anyone about that. I don't think he talked to his parents, nothing. That toddler needs a timeout. And he got no gentle guidance from anybody. Anyway, you got anything to add? You can defend Jamal if you want, but
oh, there's no defense for that. I mean, I'm honestly surprised he didn't get suspended. He threw a heating pad and he threw a towel.
Yeah.
And he was throwing them at the ref. I mean, that's crazy. I don't understand how he's playing in tonight's game.
I heard this point and I thought it was a good one. It seemed like Adam Silver handed down the hefty fine because he didn't want to basically decide a series, which I think that logic is flawed because he's not deciding the series. Jamal Murray acting like a brat would be deciding the series. Some of the insiders were like David Stern would have suspended him in a heartbeat, and I think Adam Silver is a players commissioner, and he tried to do the right thing by not suspending a key player in a series that's in a pivotal point with the Nuggets down 2-0. But I wonder if he's regretting it now that Jamal Murray opened his mouth and came at it with that. And I also wonder if Jamal Murray's going to ruin it for other people. Because if I'm Adam Silver, I'm like, that's how you repay me being generous and not suspending you, by acting like a total brat? I mean, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, it doesn't set a good precedent for everybody moving forward if that's the way you're going to act. It's a big toddler energy, like you were saying. It's BTE.
Yep. BTE, there you go. All right, Diesel, you want to cover the next one?
Sure. Not fouling when you're up 3 at the end of a game. A lot of NBA teams should do this. A lot of them don't seem to.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to happen at the end of the Pacers game tonight. They got lucky, and they forced Jalen Brunson into a terrible shot, and somehow ended up still winning the game. So I guess in that situation, they didn't play themselves, but most of the time, NBA teams just foul at the end of the game when you're up 3. Especially, just don't let them catch outside of the 3-point line so they can't shoot it. Then you're good.
Yeah. Sure, you can avoid playing yourself, but it's lucky when you do.
It's very lucky.
But you know what prevents you from ever playing yourself? If you foul when you're up 3. Because you literally can't lose a game that way. But you can lose one by not doing it. So, I mean, you saw it. It didn't end up costing them the series, but it cost them a game. The Knicks and Sixers series. Yep. I mean, Tyrese Maxey went down. Just fucking foul the guy. It might elongate the game. They might eventually get a chance to tie it, but it's going to be far less time, and it's going to be way more panicked.
Yep.
Okay, next up, you got another you played yourself for us?
The Sixers and Tobias Harris's contract. It is... You're paying the dude 5 years... or for $180 million over 5 years, and he puts up stinker after stinker after stinker in the playoffs for you while Joel Embiid is over here on a reconstructed knee with Bell's palsy, unable to see out of his eye, dropping 50, and all he needs you to do is just score 20 like a couple of games. You can't even do that. Good job, Tobias.
Petty, right? Hey, are you calling me petty? Yeah, you petty. You petty. Petty, right?
I mean, he couldn't get into double figures some games. Yeah, you played yourself for sure. I think the only thing I have to add to that is Jimmy Butler, take it away.
Tobias Harris over me?
Yeah. Okay. Next up on You Played Yourself, obviously, you number one podcast listeners, I told you this is an NBA playoff episode, so these You Played Yourselves are focused around the NBA. If you didn't catch on to it, now you know. Next up, You Played Yourself. The Los Angeles Clippers. A opening round exit and yet another disappointing finish for James Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi injured less Leonard.
What it do, baby?
Yeah. Feel bad for Clippers fans running out of things to say about this team and the perennial disappointment that they have to face every year. Someone is always hurt. They always seem to underperform, and they have 3 of the top NBA players on their roster and can't seem to get out of their own.
Yeah, it's like you were saying earlier as well. Kawhi is just always hurt. It's you can't win a game when your best player, or you're not going to go deep into the playoffs when your best player is just made out of paper mache.
And Tyronn Lue was saying something like, I think next year they're going to go back to load management. And I'm like, but load management hasn't gotten you anything either.
Yeah.
So there really isn't a strategy. It's like maybe he just doesn't play till the playoffs. It's going to turn into that eventually.
Yeah, pretty much. That's, I guess, what you have to do is literally just save him for the playoffs.
And this disappearance act, Harden and Paul George, they'll drop 41 game and then have 13 the next. It's wild to me because even when I think the playoffs, it's you can have an off game, but the roller coaster type games are so detrimental to teams when your star player can't muster up even trips to the free throw line and add up to a decent point scoring output. I think about what Donovan Mitchell's meant for the Cavs this postseason. Mm-hmm. He hasn't had amazing shooting nights, or aforementioned Jamal Murray had some bad shooting nights, but you look at the box score and they're they still managed to get 20 points. They got to the free throw line. They made some clutch baskets at the end. You never see that with Harden. There's never an off game where they still come up timely. And him and Paul George it's almost like they couldn't even take turns disappearing in games. They both did it at the same time or balled out at the same time.
Yeah,
which is the worst kind of star player to have, I think.
Yeah, it was very. It seemed like it was very all or nothing with the two of them, and yeah, it's not going to work, especially when the rest of your team is not consistently. There's a very inconsistent team all the way around.
Yeah, well, that's a nice segue into the next You Played Yourself. Thank you, Nnamdi. Here, next up on You Played Yourself is the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns were swept by the Minnesota Timberwolves. This was a pretty rough season for the Suns, I would say, overall. I mean, yeah, you still made the playoffs, had some nice portions of the season, but largely their roster construction stunk.
Mm-hmm.
Bradley Beal was hurt seemingly all year. KD had a good year. Booker kind of got forced into point guard. He did pretty well, but I mean, what do you think? Do you think the experiment, they got to switch it up, right? Their owner seems to think they don't. Oh, and by the way, their news out of Phoenix, they fired Frank Vogel and have already hired Mike Budenholzer, former Milwaukee Bucks coach, who was the coach when they won the NBA Finals a couple years ago. So they have a new coach in Phoenix as well. You played yourself to the Suns, but I want to get your take. Do you think they blow it up? Do you think they should? I don't think they will, by the way, but do you think they should? Or is it just simply need different players around their star?
I think that they need to blow it up. It's I don't think their roster is really well constructed. I think while Booker and KD are two of the best scorers in the game, they're just very... It's like having two of the same player a lot of the time. And if you can stop one, you can kind of game plan to stop the other at the same time because of that. So I think their pairing just doesn't really work out well, and the rest of the roster just isn't constructed as well as it could be. So I think they should blow it up.
I agree with you. And the fit's weird to me. They're three really good players, but it's almost like a little kid playing a video game did a fantasy draft, and it's like they traded to get three really good players, and then they just had to fill in the rest with whoever.
That is a lot what it feels like.
Definitely feels like the KD, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker experiment has gone wrong. So I don't know. We'll see what they do. Their owner obviously is a new to the ownership part of things and seems really aggressive, and I think he wants to run it back. They don't have other money to spend, but I'm sure they're going to try to convince players to come play for these three stars. So we'll see what new roster they construct for new head coach there. Speaking of experiment gone right, though, me getting on this Magic Mind, I know I've talked to you number one podcast listeners about it before. Diesel, I believe you were on game with Magic Mind, but I was originally looking for a clean alternative to start my day off right. Been consuming like a lot of caffeinated drinks, coffee, energy drinks, that sort of thing. Magic Mind's been such a great addition to my day. I know you were texting me about it. Have you got a chance to try it yet, Diesel?
Yeah, I've started trying putting it into my daily routine, and I've got to say it's got some good feelings to it.
Yeah, I really like that it's helped me have less and sometimes ditch the energy drinks. I like it because it's quick and convenient, just a little shot, so you can take it going out the door, toss it in the recycle bin on the way out. It gives you a nice clean boost to start your day, or it could be in the middle of your day. I'm not here to judge how you use Magic Mind here. But I've noticed I've been more focused and clear. I've been happy and energetic, and then in general less fatigued for everything in life, from getting back to work to being a dad and recording for you number one podcast listeners and giving you the content you deserve without letting any other part of my life down. So, I'm trying to watch what I put in my body because I think it's important as I get older and more washed. But I like that it has all natural ingredients and it's sourced from the best suppliers. So I don't feel guilty consuming it like I sometimes do with energy drinks.
Way better than an energy drink.
Yeah, exactly. So whether it's in place of or alongside your usual caffeine, Magic Mind gives you number one podcast listeners the clean boost you need to handle what life throws your way. Now, I've said this before. I'll say it again for you number one podcast listeners. Go get yourself some at magicmind.com/Prem Brulee. Enter the code BRULEE20, and with it, you can get up to 56% off your first subscription or 20% off your one-time purchase. That's BRULEE20, BRULEE20, for up to 56% off your order. And the best part, which I love, is it also works if you're already a subscriber to Magic Mind. So, you number one podcast listeners that have already been put on game, jump on over, use that code BRULEE20. That's magicmind.com, magicmind.com/Prem Brulee. You already know how to spell that because you're here and subscribed and listening. And it's in the episode description if you forget any of this. But if you number one podcast listeners are having trouble being at 100% some days too, I would really encourage you to try it out. You know I wouldn't steer you number one podcast listeners wrong. So again, magicmind.com/Prem Brulee with the discount code BRULEE20, BRULEE20, for up to 56% off your subscription to Magic. If I were you, I'd get the 30-pack. It's the best value. You already know I'm about that. And you already know Magic Mind could have helped the Lakers not blow so many leads. Talk about a segue.
What it do, baby?
Yeah. Next, you played yourself the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers and the team with our beloved LeGod James on it had a 5-game series loss to the Denver Nuggets in the opening round of the NBA playoffs. 2 of the 4 victories by the Nuggets featured game-winning shots by Jamal Murray. the Lakers, you probably saw it plastered everywhere. They led more minutes in the series than the Nuggets. They blew multiple big leads. That if you've ever seen an enemy of the Lakers, it is that damn third quarter. They spent all season talking about wanting to get the Nuggets back. Anthony Davis went on a little mini press tour talking about they want another chance at him, and they got him, and they did one game better.
Petty alert.
The
Petty
Timberwolves
alert.
have already
Petty
won
alert.
more games against the Nuggets than the Lakers have in 2 years.
Petty,
so,
right? Hey, are you calling me petty?
yeah, you played yourself to our Lakers. I hate to put it on there, but man, it felt like every one of those games was close. Ironically, except for the one the Lakers won, and somehow the Lakers always blew it.
Yeah, it was their bench just completely disappeared in just about every single game. I mean, looking at what Anthony Davis, who usually we clown him for not showing up, but he definitely showed up this series. He was a monster. LeBron James was James.
No Tony alert this year. No Tony alert this year. He was not Tony Davis. He was full Anthony Davis all year. I will give him that.
Yeah. It is just a shame that the D'Lo, Austin Rivers, Rui, everybody else just decided to go to Cancun early.
Look, I stay petty, so I don't have to get petty.
Dude, I was trying to think about this. Have you ever seen a person miss more bunny layups than Rui Hachimura? This dude was making tough spinning layups, posting up people, but he'd have a wide the fuck open lane and miss lay-ins. It was driving me nuts.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, our boy D'Angelo Russell, go Bucks alert. Man, talk about Jekyll and Hyde. This dude put up goose eggs and then would go for like 6 for 7 from 3 the next game.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Looks like he should play on the Clippers.
What it do, baby?
Yeah. No kidding. I'll be interested to see what the Lakers do moving forward. You thought it was a good roster heading into the season, but it just felt like things were missing. They just never got that third piece in the playoffs. And obviously the Nuggets have their name, have their number, but you know, I said this and it was kind of a hot take. I thought the Lakers should have instead played for the 8 seed because I think they would have fared well against any other team but the Nuggets. And instead they faced them in the first round. And the argument was like, at least you're fresh, but hey, you're heading home sooner. And you probably could have used a less fresh Nuggets yourself. Yep. So I don't know. I'm still going to think about that once we make our way through the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, if
a play... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if they would have drawn OKC, I mean, they might have had a better chance. They're a lot younger.
Yeah.
Not as experienced in the playoffs and are just fresh off of winning a championship and sweeping you to get to a championship from last year. So, yeah.
I don't know. I just think... I think the Lakers would have beat any other first-round team, and they played the one team that is like their kryptonite. Now, the Timberwolves looked really good, so maybe not the T-Wolves now that we're looking in retrospect.
Yeah.
But I really do think they would have beat any of the other teams besides the Nuggets. Because I think about it, if they played the Thunder, LeBron James would be picking his matchups every time. He'd pick apart that young team. They would not know what hit them, is my feeling. But, again, it's always about the supporting cast around him and Anthony Davis. So, who knows? We'll never know. Okay. My next You Played Yourself. Well, our last sports You Played Yourself before we get to the non-sports one. NBA challenges. You played yourself to NBA challenges. The idea that no matter what, by challenging it, you lose a timeout is fucking wild to me. If you win a challenge, you should get your timeout back. Why on earth should you be penalized of losing a timeout when the officiating got a call wrong? And listen, I can understand officials getting calls wrong. They're seeing things in real time and all that. But a team shouldn't have to pick between being without timeouts in a crucial point in the game and getting a call right that could be critical in how the game ends up. I think NBA's got to change this. I hope they do. It's gotten a lot of attention, especially in the playoffs, because I think largely the officiating's been pretty horrendous these playoffs. There's been a lot of really bad fucking calls. Yeah. So I think that's something. Adam Silver, like we said earlier, he's a players commissioner, and I think he operates really logically, and what makes the game better, I think this does. So I know their main point with challenges was to like not slow down the game, but you got to get these right. Or maybe you make it so that you get your timeouts back only in the playoffs. Like maybe it's not a regular season rule, it's just a playoff rule, but you shouldn't get penalized for it.
Yeah, I agree. It's weird that you lose a timeout when you do that. I think that either timeouts and challenges like just need to be like completely separate things, so you aren't wasting a timeout if you're doing a challenge and you only have like say 3 challenges a game or something. But I mean that you're using a timeout for that for something that the official got wrong is that's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think it should function like the NFL. Like, sure, it costs you a timeout, but you get it back if you win the challenge. If you lose the challenge, you lose the timeout. And that's the risk you play by challenging a call. I think it's pretty simple. I don't get why they even did it the other way in the first place. So, anyway.
Doesn't really make that much sense.
Okay, this portion of You Played Yourself has quickly turned into one of my favorites because get to put a You Played Yourself on non-sports things. My non-sports candidate for You Played Yourself is so I recently went on a flight, and I know I think most of us hate when people stand up right away when the plane lands. That's a pretty obvious one. But airlines, what is going on with this overhead bin space? I went on a flight where they're like, we're trying to check bags ahead of time. No one had even been on the plane yet, and they're trying to bag a whole bunch of bags. They're coming around like, if you have a roller bag, it's not going to fit. What the fuck do you mean it's not going to fit? That's a standard bag for overhead bins. What is this going to turn into? You can't take a carry-on? If that's the case, incentivize checking your bag. Every airline should cost nothing to check your bag. In fact, you should start charging if people bring a carry-on, if that's really where we're heading. It was crazy to me. I'm like, okay, A, it wasn't a small plane, and B, they're like, oh, that's not going to fit. You're going to need to check that. It's a fucking standard bag that got through security. What do you mean it doesn't fit? Change your overhead bins. And then they're like, I had another flight where people were already on, and they didn't let them know that the space was full, so people were walking on with their bags with no room to put them. What the fuck are we doing here? How does that happen? Make sure there's enough fucking room. I don't see these seats getting bigger, so where's all the space going? I should be able to carry on a bag and put it in the bin over me. I don't think it's that difficult. What are we talking about here? There's people in a rush, like, oh, you could check it to your final destination. I'm going to one place. If I wanted to check it, I would have fucking checked the bag. You played yourself. It's like, man, this is going to slowly start turning into like, hey, you brought a piece of paper. That's not going to fit in the overhead bin. What the fuck you talking about? Get rid of the overhead bins then. Don't tell me I can bring something. Just put it that way. Give me the extra room above me, I guess. I don't know. Make it a double-decker like we're in fucking London. I don't know what you're going to do here, but it's clearly not fitting any regular-sized bags. They think these people just travel with, like they're going to a sleepover one night and they're a teenage boy. It's like, I brought my shit in a plastic bag. It'll fit. What are we talking about? Anyway. Okay. You got one for me, Diesel?
Yeah, I do. A big old You Played Yourself goes out to Drake and his the Heart Part 6 response to his beef with Kendrick.
Oh boy.
It's just an absolutely terrible response back. Basically saying, if I'm not a liar, why aren't my pants on fire? I mean, and then he tries to double down by misunderstanding the song Mother I Sober and trying to then make fun of Kendrick for potentially having been molested as a child and saying that's your defense? Like, what kind of backward way of thinking is that?
Unreal.
And not only,
I can't believe his people around him let him do that.
And not only that, he could have used his bars were just terrible at points.
Yeah.
He could. There were a couple of opportunities where he could have used Kendrick's own lyrics and bars against him. Like, he could have used misusing your influence in a couple of places. That would have been great.
Yeah.
Bring it back to Kendrick's music and being. That was so disappointing too, because he had what I thought was the funniest bar up until that point when he said, Kendrick just opened his mouth, someone go give him a Grammy right now.
Hey, Kendrick just opened his mouth, someone go hand him a Grammy right now.
That just pops into my head randomly because it's just
so good. It is so
it's so bitter and just so hilarious. And then he comes out with this crap.
Yeah, people kept, I couldn't believe the logic of that, like, oh, well, if I did this, I'd be arrested by now, is not sound logic to use.
Or I'm too rich and famous to have done that. Like,
yeah.
Do you watch the news, dude?
So, congratulations, you played yourself.
The news is full of celebrities that do stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Definitely you played yourself to Drake. This is a perfect segue into Am I Hatin'? So, you number one podcast listeners, you remember the segment. It's a segment to say statements we are most likely hating on, but it's a safe space, so we're going to drop them anyway. Yeah, that was a great segue because Drake being on You Played Yourself leads right into this one. This one's to you, Drake superfans. Now, I have a nickname for you, but I'm going to keep it PG. You Drake superfans are making me hate an artist I enjoy and have been listening to for a good 15 years now. I seriously do not get this. You Drake superfan. These artists, and I feel like I do need to say this to you because I'm not sure you know this. These artists do not pay you. You do not owe them this level of devotion to a point where people question your sanity. We just talked about Drake's flawed logic on the Heart Part 6. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. We don't want to give that very serious accusation of what Kendrick was accusing him of and what Drake was trying to defend any attention. But you do not, it is not a requirement for you to defend him, even though he clearly made bare bones the wrong move in a diss track. You do not owe him that. Y'all are standing Drake like you're on his payroll. I'm starting to think that a lot of you could have Drake make a diss track about your own mother and you'd thank him for it. Like, fucking relax. You're making people hate Drake. That's the thing they don't realize. Their crazy ass level of defending a person who's so clearly losing, at the very least, he's so clearly losing this rap battle that we are talking about, and you're defending him like it's insanity. We're giving you proof of how he fucked up and you can't see it. And it's all because he's your favorite artist? Why does that fucking matter? He's not your family. He's not paying you. He's not doing anything for you. Not one fucking thing. So, am I hating? Yeah, I am. But you guys are giving me a big reason to. You know, this segment this was born out of me being a hater towards the supposed unhateable Taylor Swift, you know. But this one, I feel like a lot of people would agree with me. And if you don't, you probably are a Drake fan and thinking, oh, I'm not a Drake super fan. The first step is admitting it. I mean, let's go there. I'm sick. Like, I can't believe you guys are making me hate the artist because of how you're acting.
It's crazy behavior.
He's acting like he's your family. Yeah. You got any am I hatings?
No, I mean, I think you pretty much said what I would say.
All right. Now, let's wrap up this podcast with who you got and what you feeling. You number one podcast listeners know that last episode was the NFL Draft Preview Edition, so I'm not going to recap all those questions we covered on that, obviously, but it will be fun to circle back to some of Thomas's takes and see how they panned out. This episode, Nnamdi, I wanted to ask you, first up, the most disappointing team of the NBA playoffs thus far. I have a few candidates, but you can pick whoever you'd like, even outside of this. We covered a bunch of them already and mentioned all of them. The Lakers, the Clippers, the Suns, and the Milwaukee Bucks. And anyone else you want to add? You got Philadelphia. I think those are the main ones that come to mind. I think that covers most of the disappointing ones.
Yeah, I'd say to me the most disappointing would definitely be the Phoenix Suns. I mean, they couldn't even get a game from the Timberwolves. And I know the Timberwolves have been... Their defense is crazy, but I mean, come on. If you're supposed to be this high-powered offense with these three great scorers, you got to at least take one game. Even the Lakers got a game.
Yeah. Totally. I think Suns would probably be my pick, but just in interest of being a little different, I think I'm going to go with the Clippers. And we talked about them earlier, so I won't rehash it. But the gist is you got three star players, and you should make it out of the first round, I think. Definitely not the Bucks because they had the injury bug hit them. Yep. Dame Lillard didn't play a few games. Giannis didn't play any. I mean, that was a mess.
Yeah, I think they were the first team to actually win a playoff game where their top two scorers from the regular season were both out. So
that was crazy. Yeah.
I mean, they're like kind of the opposite of a disappointment, which is kind of sad because they still got knocked out in the first round.
Yeah. Okay. Kind of goes hand in hand, but I want to get your most surprising result, either good or bad. I mean, we've covered a lot of the bad, the Suns getting swept, the Sixers losing in their opening round, despite having a great series from Tyrese Maxey, and Embiid battling through some crazy health issues. But it can also be the good, the Cavs Magic series, the Timberwolves sweeping the Suns, the young Thunder team balling out. So who you got for most surprising result?
I think my most surprising result would probably be just Anthony Edwards going on a complete tear. He's just...
Oh, I like that one.
He is just on fire. I think he's averaging like 34 or something in the playoffs and like 37 over his last like 4 games right now. He's unstoppable, and he's a terror on both ends of the floor. It has been a pleasure to watch him during the regular season, but he's just turned it up to another level these playoffs, and it is... I wasn't expecting him to do this for a couple more years, so it is fun to watch.
Yeah, that is a great one because it feels like he's really blossomed into being like a superstar. Yeah. And especially he's had a great season. As we mentioned, he finished top 5 MVP voting, but like he's stepped it up even more in the playoffs. Been carrying his team, acting like a leader in like press conferences and stuff. He's fun to watch, easy to root for. I'm excited to see it. Like you said, I think it was a couple of years away, and it's cool to see him like this because I'm sure you remember this. Before the draft, the big news was like, I think in like pre-draft interviews, he said something along the lines of like, oh, he doesn't like always want to play basketball. And it was a big deal in that news cycle because they had nothing to report because they're like, oh, he doesn't care about the game or like putting in the work. It's like ironic because he seems like he's from that 90s era of old school star. So I like that pick. I'm gonna say my surprising result was let's see, I have a few candidates in my head. I'm gonna try to keep it positive for this one. Oh, I got a great one actually. That's a good summary. Just thought of this. This seems like the playoffs of the changing of the guards.
Yeah.
And I think that's really surprising to me. We're seeing a playoffs with all young stars. I think like Kyrie's one of the oldest players left in the playoffs. I mean, we just talked about Edwards. There's no more LeBron. There's Steph Curry didn't even make the playoffs. There's no KD. This seems like the ultimate playoffs where it's the changing of the guard, where it's all about the young players.
That's a really good one, because I think this is like the first playoffs since like 2007 or something that has not included LeBron, KD, or Curry past the second round of the playoffs.
Crazy. It's wild. I mean, it says a lot about their longevity, but it's cool to see, but kind of sad because I feel like we're in the age of like, I mean, we talked about it with that rap beef, like people have to pick sides, and a lot of it, you know, you and I are LeBron fans. It's like it manifests in these like outrageous hating ass ways, which I know is ironic coming from me, but the whole LeBron thing of like, I just think he's the ultimate superstar that wasn't appreciated in real time. I mean, I still see things where people like try to sound smart, but are clearly hating on LeBron. It's like the weirdest shit ever.
It's one of the things I really like about Anthony Edwards is he very openly said that people need to stop hating on LeBron and appreciate him.
Yeah.
And he's going to be happy that he's one of the only people that actually appreciated him while he was still there. And
so easy to
he just always says the right thing. And it's, even though LeBron is aging out, I'm so happy that Anthony Edwards is aging into that new face of the NBA role, because he's an awesome dude.
Such a fun personality too. I think he's talk about like candidates for face of the league. He is quickly be an obvious pick for that. Okay. We talked about a lot of the matchups. I think we covered most of the teams, maybe except for the Pelicans, but I mean,
Petty alert. Petty alert.
no,
Petty alert.
no regrets. Who is making the finals? Who do you think's coming out of the East? Who's coming out of the West? I don't need. You can add your bonus pick for who you think the champion's going to be, but I want your pick for who's coming out of each, given the teams left.
I think that we're going to probably see. You know what? I'm gonna make a hot take. We're gonna see the Knicks and the Timberwolves in the finals this year.
Oh wow!
I'm just gonna go with my gut. The Knicks have been super scrappy. The Timberwolves, their defense is crazy good. I mean, so yeah. Well, we'll see if that happens.
Yeah. So if you would have told me, I mean, heading into the playoffs, I'll be honest with you, I had trouble seeing anyone besides the Celtics and the Nuggets meeting in the finals. I mean, the Celtics look far and away the best team in the East, and it's like felt like, okay, the West was a gauntlet, but you're gonna default to the team that just won and has a pretty similar team. I know they don't have Bruce Brown this year, which seems like a big change in things, but yeah, like, so full disclosure, I would have said Celtics and Nuggets, but obviously we have the benefit of knowing what's happening right now. So I like your Timberwolves pick in the West, which sounds crazy to say, but I think I'll go Celtics versus Timberwolves as my picks.
Yeah, I was real close to picking the Celtics and Nuggets, but I think that it's possible. I can see a world where the Knicks and Timberwolves can meet in the finals, and Anthony Edwards gets his first finals MVP after averaging like 40 a game or something.
Wouldn't that be crazy? To then like supersede the Celtics doing it. But I do think we're heading for a Celtics versus Knicks Eastern Conference Finals. And the West, like, I didn't expect the Wolves to steal both the first two games, especially them both being in Denver. Yeah. So that really changed things up for me. I mean, they won a game without Gobert there.
Yep. They blew them out. They won by like
rightfully
20-some points.
Yeah. Gobert is rightfully back in Minnesota for the birth of his child, but they fucking won that game with Karl Anthony Towns, the stupid foul machine himself, managing to not mess up. I mean, Anthony Edwards, talk about fun quotes, like him talking about how Cat gets stupid fouls. I'm like, Wow. It's like he's like in my head. I've never seen a guy get more stupid fouls away from the basket. That dude just reaches for no reason, thinking he can poke the ball out of like a guard's hand. He's not 94 feet from his hoop. Crazy. Anyway, of course we're gonna say this, and then the Nuggets are gonna steal both games in Minnesota. So what do we know?
I think they're winning right now.
There you go. See. Of course that would happen. Oh, yeah, they're kicking ass.
Oh, yeah, they're up 25.
It is nice, though, that in these semifinals, we're getting pretty good series. I was worried we were heading towards, like, some lopsided ones. I mean, I was watching earlier, and the Pacers still got this Game 3 win. Not really stole it, but it actually felt like the Pacers blew both of the first two games.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly it's like a more of a plus for the Knicks, but I'm glad we get pretty good series for all of them so far.
Same here. It's been a very fun second round.
Definitely, which I was nervous about without those stars. Okay, Diesel, what you feeling lately?
I'm feeling my nephew being born soon and my niece's second birthday coming up.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Nnamdi is an official uncle, obviously by blood, but my kids will always know him as Uncle Noms, and you've embraced the uncle role well. So,
thanks.
It's always fun to see when your best friends become like uncles and aunts to your kids. It's like really cool because you don't expect it out of anyone. You just never know. You don't like want to force it on anyone, but it's fun to see. It's beautiful to see it. Put it that way. But yeah, shout out to your nephew almost here and your niece being 2. I can't believe she's 2 already.
I know, it's crazy.
It's like
feels like it's just yesterday.
Time flies. Yeah. Again, we're simpatico on this. What I'm feeling lately was my paternity leave. It officially is over recently, and even though it's over, I loved every second of getting that time with my wife and our boys. It was such a rewarding time, and I cherish that I was able to take that time, and I think about people who have jobs that aren't able to and all that, so don't take it for granted. So I'm definitely feeling getting some extended time at home with new baby and the toddler. Okay. Number one podcast listener. I like to end each episode that too much sense. By the way, as always, I love hearing feedback, but I love when people tell me they love this section. It means a lot to me because I'm giving advice that nobody asked for, but it's always cool to see that it's received well. So shout out to you guys that tell me that, and it means a lot to me. I hope you all know that. But my too much sense, without further ado, is to talk stuff out with people. I know I've said that before, but you might just both become aware that neither of you are wrong. You just saw a scenario differently. Talking really should be about seeing things from their perspective rather than the need to be right. That last part was big for me because, I used to prioritize my love and need to be right instead of understanding the person across from me. Now, my love for being right just manifests in when I get to gas up the people in my life who are maybe not feeling as confident about themselves or their abilities, or not seeing their own greatness for their own. That's when I like to rub in that, see, I was right. I was right to have confidence in you. That's kind of the card I play, and it gives me that same love of being right because it's positive all around. Now, it still takes a lot of work to get to a point of understanding another perspective instead of seeing things as right or wrong, and I still make mistakes with that. But there's something beautiful about being able to just hear someone out and not act in a brash manner. So that's my too much sense for this week. Take a little time, get to know the other person's perspective, and come to some kind of understanding. I think it is a big step in emotional growth, and it's something that I work towards a lot.
Love it.
Yeah, man. Okay, you number one podcast listeners, that does it for the NBA playoff edition of the number one podcast in your headphones, Prem Brulee. I've been your host, Premal Bot, and I am so pumped about this episode because my brother, NBA expert, my college roommate, one of my best friends, all those things, was able to join me as a co-host for the first time. Hopefully you come back again and enjoyed yourself, Nnamdi. But Nnamdi Kalu joined me for this special edition, and hopefully he'll be back. You going to come back, bro?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, if you'll have me.
I love it.
The number one podcast listeners will have me back.
Absolutely. You damn right, man. We'd love to have you. Love your basketball perspective. By the way, he doesn't just know basketball, but this is on the forefront of both of our minds right now since the NBA playoffs. So it's not just limited to basketball season, but we definitely will have you back on. I'm glad we got to do this, man. It's been a long time coming.
Sure has been. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, sir. All right, you number one podcast listeners, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Share this episode. You have no idea how much it means to me when people share episodes to their social medias, tag me, all that stuff. It means so much to me, and you all mean so much to me, so really appreciate you, number one podcast listeners. Sorry for the little brief hiatus. Like I told you, I was enjoying the end of my paternity leave, but hopefully we'll be back to some regular content moving forward. And that does it for this brand new edition of Prem Brulee, the number one podcast in your headphones. We'll talk to you next time.